Traders at Axis Bank anticipate investors' fixed attention on today's 143.9 billion naira T-bills. Primary market auction will keep the market calm as waning appetite for bonds continue. Tunbosun Obembe, money market trader at Axis Bank, joins me now for some market updates. Tunbosun, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Let's start off with investors' focus on today's T-bills auction, and it's been a quiet season this time around, looking at the activities at play so far since Monday.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me once more. For today, the attention of the fixed income market has been focused on the NTB auction, like you rightly mentioned. We have about 149 billion on offer across the standard tenor. Like we know, the market is driven by liquidity. So for this week, we've seen a lot of liquidity in the system. Yesterday, there was an improvement of about 135 billion between yesterday's liquidity and liquidity that we saw today, which is over 700 billion. So at today's auction, we expect a lot of participants to actually come in for the auction, and it's a rollover of a maturity that is happening tomorrow. So that means that there is more liquidity that will even come into the market tomorrow. So the auction is going to be oversubscribed significantly. So due to this oversubscription, it will have impact on the yield. So the stop rate at today's auction, we expect it to come down. At the last auction, the 1 year closed at 10.17. So today's auction, I expect nothing. I expect like 9% or even something lower than that, because most market participants are actually looking to actually buy the bills.
Okay. Now, talking more about investors' position, now we are seeing investors most trades seen around the November and December T-bills, and we also saw some offers within the 2050, but that was not necessarily enough to lift up the sentiment within the bond market, because we are just seeing that loss of appetite, weak appetite play out. Talk through the numbers we are seeing here, what's at play, and yield so far.
So on the bond space too, so the same liquidity that we saw in the money market is what has brought in that bullish sentiment. We've seen a lot of banks trying to buy the cherry pick on some of the short end of the curve, so that they can avoid the possible CRR that the Apex Bank might pass on Friday. So what has been driving the appetite in both the TBs and the bond space is banks trying to avoid the CRR that might come in on Friday. And then next week too, we have a bond auction on 20, 28, 32, 42 and 50. So there's a lot of caution purchase, because at the next week option, we expect that one will be oversubscribed too. We're expecting most of the PFAs. You remember last month we had a majority of 2023 bond, and between end of last month and now, we've not had significant outflow from the system. So we still have that liquidity that came in from the majority of 2023 bond, which market participants will actually invest heavily in next week auction. But part of the liquidity will be taken out, like I said, on Friday. There will be a FX auction by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and that will be possible CRR debit. So we expect this over 700 billion liquidity that we have currently in the system. Part of it, at least, you expect like 60% of it will go out by Friday.
And looking at the numbers at play, looking at the currency market as well, we're seeing some modest supply. However, the larger demand volume for dollars still lingers on. But let's talk about how the NAFEX and importers and exporters window is faring out. It's about a 462 naira, thereabout.
Yes. So it's been trading around that 462 naira, but I will expect it to actually, because you know, CBN has been a major driver of the CBN has been defending the naira. So they used to they sell to the investable market for people that wants to buy PTA, people that wants to pay medical. So the base rate, which has always been at 460, so what we've seen today is there has been a movement in that base rate by 5 naira. So in that space, we expect a little differentiation from that iron space, probably by about 3 naira, because we expect going forward the base rate will will be 465, which will play out at Friday's auction too, where the base rate for the auction before now used to be 460, but now it's been moved to 465. So that is technically a 5 naira devaluation of the naira.
And wrapping up the conversation now, let's talk about some developments. The latest we have from Fitch, it is affirmed Nigeria at B- status with a stable outlook, and it's also in its notes made mention of the fact that the local debt market can compensate for the debt of Eurobonds. At this point in time, where we are talking about the incoming administration likely taking more borrowings, how are investors responding to the news so far?
The news that you just mentioned, what we've seen is we have the liquidity. There is liquidity in the system. That would be in terms of us having the foreign investor coming into the market and having some kind of confidence in our market. But the current level of yield, when you look at the treasury-based space, I don't think even if a foreign investor wants to do a carry trade, it's going to be like a negative carry. So you may not be seeing, we will not be seeing those foreign investors coming. Maybe after the inauguration and when the plan of the new government is known, we can start seeing some of the foreign investors coming back to the market. But for now, it's still like everybody's trying to watch, trying to look at okay, what is the plan of the new government? So what is the direction of the FX? Because FX is very important. As if you bring funds, your ability to actually take out the fund is very important for you to make that investment decision.
Yeah.
So, but what we know is most of the offshore, they still have so much interest in Nigeria, given that we have there is stability, and when it comes to political stability, we have it, and so it's just us having that positive return for the investor. That's what is left now.
Well, we're also waiting with bated breath for the inflation numbers for the month of April and how this would also likely filter into the MPC's next move, which will come up on the 22nd and 23rd of this month. A lot still to look out for, but thank you so much for your contribution on the show today, Bosu. We'll leave the conversation here. That was Tunbosun Obembe, money market trader at Access Bank.